How you doing? Are you good? Well positioned? Front and center, ladies and gentlemen? Good boy.
What have you got if you haven't got love?
Hello tipsters and tricksters, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. I'm going to be honest with you. Today, I just can't be fucked. Yeah. Straight out the bat, being honest with you, it is the first day of my period, and if that is TMI, then bye. Yeah, like, you know, half the world has that issue going on, so if you can't deal with that, then I don't know, it's just not my problem. But for those of you who are willing to stick around, I'm not going to be talking about that in my whole video, but that's part of the reason why I feel so crappy. It's probably the only reason why I feel so crappy today, but I find that in the first couple of days of my period, I just have super high anxiety and stress levels. I also get insomnia in the days leading up to it, so it's super fun. Yeah, and I just have not slept recently for literally no reason. And today I feel terrible. I feel like on edge and shaky and stressed over nothing. There is literally nothing to be stressed about. Everything is going well. I was even really productive today, work-wise, but the one thing I just wasn't up for was like putting makeup on and pretending to be all chipper and happy, and yeah. So I decided to sit down and have an honest video with you instead. I've made myself a cup of tea just to try and chill out a bit. And I thought I might talk about something that I kind of been, I guess, avoiding talking about, or just didn't feel like it was maybe my place to talk about. And that is, I got asked a while ago by someone very sweetly. It was a really nice suggestion. They asked me to make a video about how I stay confident and motivated. And I didn't make that video because I was like, I am not confident or motivated. Well, that's not how I feel. Like, I would say a lot of the time, particularly in this job, and since I've gone completely freelance and I just run things myself and do my own projects, I have massive imposter syndrome. And over the past year and a half, it's improved a lot recently with the world opening up and my industry's opening up and things are going well. But you know, whilst we were in the full pandemic lockdown situation here in the UK, I was miserable, really miserable. Like 90% of the time, I was really, really sad and felt hopeless and like there was no point. There's birds outside. He has a real thing about birds. Yeah, you dominate those birds. Yeah, so I didn't make that video because I just felt like it would be a sham, right? And then I feel like over the past year and a half, a lot of people on social media or in social media roles have come out and said, like, you know, remember that what you see on social media is the best of our situation. And a lot of people who didn't kind of just bear all on social media like some people do said, you know, like, for me to be able to keep it together, I need to put positive stuff out into the world so that I feel positive too. Like, my social media isn't just about uplifting other people. It's for me to have a space to go to and look through and be like, there are things worth looking forward to in life and I do have good times. And I appreciated that and liked that because last year, I tried really hard to produce things that I was proud of because in my day-to-day life, I was miserable. And so I wanted that one thing to be kept alive. You know, last year, many people had a difficult year. So this is not like a woe is me chat, but you know, like I lost my income, I lost my home, my apartment was taken away from me. I couldn't see my family. I couldn't see my closest friends, the ones that really offer me support because they're all in Australia. You know, I felt like every support mechanism and safety mechanism in my life was taken away from me last year. And all I felt like I had left was my YouTube channel that I could be proud of and that wasn't failing on me. And so I didn't want to fill it with like negativity about my life because I wanted to have that as my little light at the end of the tunnel, you know? But what I did think might be worth sharing with you, because I feel like I'm going down a negative spiral here, but what I wanted to share with you instead is how it is that I have managed to climb out of the hole, but also when I am having a bad day like today, what is it that I do to bring some positivity into my life? I'm sorry, Louis being so noisy. I don't know if you can hear him through my mic, but he's very perturbed that these birds are enjoying themselves outside the window. I did a lot of like personal growth, self-help work through last year because I didn't have much else to do, and because a few of my friends who'd had similar problems told me about tools that they use to make themselves feel better. So I thought I'd start by sharing those because they helped me when I was at my like darkest points. And then when I'm just having a bad day like today, I have certain little things that I do to just get me through the day, because sometimes you just have to grin and bear it, but you got to do things to make it bearable, and eventually you'll go to sleep and then tomorrow will be a new day. But the very first thing I did that helped me, I guess, is I just kept up my yoga and meditation. These are things that I have done pretty much my whole life. My parents were both into yoga and meditation. I learned to do transcendental meditation when I was 7. You may have heard of this. It's very like popular with celebrities and stuff. But I did it before it was cool. No, it's been cool since the Beatles did it, like back in the 60s. But yes, I did learn how to do it. I did my course and I got my mantra and everything when I was 7, and I've been meditating like the majority of the time. I won't lie and say that I do it every day. I definitely fall off the wagon and go periods without doing it, but I never go more than like a week without doing a meditation. And when I get back on the wagon, I tend to try and consistently do it every day. And I find that helps immensely. When I don't do it, I really notice pretty quickly within like 2 or 3 days. My mental health starts going like... And same with yoga. I just feel like when my body feels bad, and I do yoga mostly for like stretching and relaxation purposes, I start to notice really quickly when I stop doing yoga because my body gets stiff and sore, particularly as someone that's on their computer all the time doing work. And when I feel stiff and sore, that affects my mental health as well. And I just feel down in the dumps and crabby and grouchy. So it definitely helps to do both of those two things. And I think there is no right or wrong. Like if you like doing Pilates, or you like, you know, swimming, or, you know, yoga and meditation is not for everyone. I will say meditation is not about being perfect. The practice of meditation is trying to train your brain not to overthink. Like my meditation today, I thought about what I would say in this video. I practiced conversations with people because when I get anxious, that's what my brain does. I overthought about food. I just got so distracted. I chatted the entire time, but I sat down and did the meditation. And I know that in 2 or 3 days' time, when my anxiety has calmed down a bit, the fact that I continue to meditate through these really rough patches will cumulatively have a more positive effect. Whereas if I drop it now, I will feel this bad for much longer. So in that sense, I would say maybe like rethink about how you're approaching meditation, that it's not about, you're not going to sit down for your first few times of meditating and then have a silent mind. Like the end goal of meditation after years of practice is to quieten your mind, and it's a de-stressor. You know, it's just about taking that time out of your day to sit down and just be as quiet as you can be. There's not really a right or wrong way to do it, if that makes sense. Same with yoga. But those two things are, that just are my basic level of self-care on pretty much a daily basis. And then particularly last year, a friend recommended this. Now I'm a creative. Not everyone that's watching this is necessarily a creative person. And this book is for creative people, but I think it could help anyone in any way. Like even if your creativity is hobby-based or you're someone who loves cooking, there's various ways you can apply it. But this book, which is called The Artist's Way, is amazing. It's like an artist's self-help workbook. It literally gives you tasks to help you get past creative blocks, to stop you getting in your own way with your success, listening to negative voices in your head about how being an artist isn't a real job, how you're not good enough, comparing yourself to other artists, all of that stuff. This book makes you work through all of that, and there's like proper activities. You have to like write letters to people who were negative to you. You have to act out scenarios where things went wrong, that you did a performance that turned out badly, and then imagine it going well. Like there's all these really great activities in here. But I didn't just find it helped me creatively, I really found it helped with my mental health. And one of the main things that it does is it makes you write 3 pages of stream of consciousness first thing after waking up every single day. And I have kept this ever since I read this book in July 2020. So it's been over a year now. For the most part, I've done this every day since then. Just like meditation, I only miss a couple of days at a time and then I get back on the wagon pretty heavily. And I notice a massive difference. So yeah, that's like, I would recommend that book for anyone, to be honest. You can apply the artist factor to something else in your life. Your personal business, if you're, freelancer, or if you just have like a career goal, you can kind of apply it however you want. I just really like the way that it goes about it. With my morning pages, it is literally just an aligned exercise book. I don't do any of that, pretty journaling stuff. For me, that's just like, oh my God, another thing I have to try and be good at. I'm already creative. Being creative is my job. I don't want to have to sit there and make a beautiful freaking journal with boxes and little hand-drawn pictures with watercolors and no. I really admire people who do it. I've got friends who do it and their journals are stunningly beautiful, but for me, it is not cathartic, it's stressful. So no, mine is literally like really messy handwriting with like lists and stuff. Like, yeah. But it's amazing. It gets like particularly negative thoughts out of my head and onto the page, or things that I'm stressed about. And quite often I'll write something that's stressing me out that I can't figure out how to resolve in my life. And literally because it's stream of consciousness, without thinking about it, I answer myself and fix the problem on the page. And I could have been stressing about it in my head for weeks. Some of these things I stressed about for years and I fixed it by just writing it down on a page. Like, it's crazy. Highly, highly recommend morning pages, stream of consciousness. Or as people say, journaling. It's just a great way to get your thoughts out of your head and onto paper. And sometimes you just realize how needless your worrying is. Other than that, I have been following someone called the Holistic Psychologist on Instagram. Again, a whole bunch of my friends who are going through kind of a similar personal growth journey to me, or mental health journey, and told me they were following her after I had already been following her for ages. So we've all kind of come to her of our own accord. And I did order her book. I haven't started reading it yet, but I am very excited to read it because her sort of approach to psychology really resonates with me. I am somewhere between like scientific and spiritual on the scale. I'm not like angels are guiding me kind of, super manifestation kind of person. I do believe in those things, but I believe in them because I think they can be backed up if you look at them from a scientific point of view. I think you have to be open to whatever approach you're taking to your personal growth journey. And if some aspect of something is making you go, oh, this sounds like rubbish to me, then it's not right for you, And that path isn't right for me. And it doesn't matter whether I'm right or wrong or not. It's right for me, and whatever's right for you is right for you. Literally no judgment, and there is no me telling you what is the right approach on this channel. I'm just sharing what works for me. But I really like her because she's got more of a she says holistic because she talks about how trauma and illness is often related to, or the illness in the body is often related to trauma, and that dealing with stress and anxiety and things from your past that might still be affecting you because you haven't resolved them yet, or you haven't realized that you've got learned behaviors that are detrimental to your life, that these things can be resolved by sort of doing the work and processing these triggers from your past, and then figuring out how to deal with your feelings and the way you approach your life in the now. And it really works for me. I find it makes sense the way that she explains things. I'm like, I can see that happening in my life. And again, I'm not suggesting that anything anyone says is inherently true. It's about what resonates with you and makes you be proactive. And her approach makes me proactive, and it makes me go about doing or creating positive change in my life, which is why I really like her work. So I do recommend that book if that sounds like something that might resonate with you, or like just check out her Instagram. She shares little gems of wisdom every day with great little like swipe throughs and with information or like psychology tips and tricks. So yeah. Recommend. Lastly, I'll touch on like what I do just on days where I feel crappy like this. I think the biggest thing is accepting that how you feel isn't necessarily your reality, So just because you feel crappy doesn't mean that this is inherently a bad day or that anything is wrong. And you don't have to like be your feelings. I don't know how else to say that, but it's like, okay, I feel bad today, and that's okay. I could wake up tomorrow and feel better, or something might happen that lifts my mood. Like quite often for me, little Louie, I'll be in the worst mood and he'll come over and like give me a cuddle and a lick, and I'm just like, it's not your fault. I'm in a bad mood. You're having a good day, so it can't be the day, really, can it? Otherwise we'd all be having a bad day. Just letting it wash over you kind of, So I try to have that mindset. Then I'll do nice things like have a cup of tea. I might have a bath if I have time. I make myself like go for a walk or do yoga and meditation. And believe me, on days like today, I do not want to, but I know full well that if I don't do it, I will get worse and the next few days will suck. So I make myself do those things and immediately afterwards, I feel better. Can anyone relate to that? Do you have days where you just feel crappy and so the first thing you want to drop is all of the like positive things that you do for yourself? So yes, the first thing I did was yoga and meditation, took Louis for a little walk, took time to just give him a cuddle because I'm not going to be my most productive today. Well, that's what I thought, and actually I was really productive, but I think that's because I stopped and like lay on the bed and played with Louis and had some fun and just did things that made me feel good, and then found little bursts of motivation to go and be productive. And when I lost that burst, I stopped and I made cinnamon rolls today because I was just like, you know what? I want cinnamon rolls because I feel bad and because I have my period, so I'm making them. And I was supposed to be doing work, but you know what? I made the dough and as it rose, I worked. And then I rolled them out and I put them in the oven, and while they cooked, I worked. And actually I was very productive and it took very little of my time overall. If you look at how long it takes, it's like 2 hours or maybe 3 hours to make cinnamon rolls, but most of that time is proofing and baking. So I got a very nice end result for just a little bit of distraction. I would recommend stuff like that, like just letting yourself take some time out, because if you feel terrible and forcing yourself to do stuff is making you feel worse, is it worth forcing yourself to do it? Are you just going to have to do it again tomorrow because you're going to do a crappy job today? It's funny how when we feel bad and we feel crappy, we get really down on ourselves, and there's like this habit to punish ourselves when we need to be kind to ourselves. So, you know, try and somehow be your best friend on your worst day instead of your worst enemy. I saw this on someone's Instagram, and I'm going to see if I can find it because I really liked the quote. I think a few people shared this. It's not like this person's quote or anything, but it just says, be nice to yourself. It's hard to be happy when someone is mean to you all the time. And like even now it kind of makes me want to cry a little bit. It was just like, fuck, I've been so freaking mean to myself my whole life. Like, just when I think to how I would mentally talk to myself with my inner dialogue, even when I was just like trying to motivate myself to go for a run, and when I was doing good, like I'd been running every day, but if I was out jogging and I was a little bit slower, I was struggling up a hill, I'd be like, come on, fatty, get it together in my head. And it's just like, how is this helping anybody? Like I would never, ever in a million years speak to somebody else like that. Why am I talking to myself like that? And I think that's really important. And so if I leave you with anything, I think it's just to start trying to be kinder to yourself, because I think that's the first step. If you're being nicer to yourself, then you start allowing yourself the space to ask for help, to do things for yourself that are going to help you, because you don't see them as concessions or like, I'm weak and so I need to do these things. No, you're just a human being and everybody needs to be kinder to themselves. Everyone would benefit from some self-care. And so do that because you're your new best friend and you just feel like pampering your best friend and doing something nice for them, you know? So yeah, there we go. That's my confidence and motivation video, because yeah, this girl here is like, I've got imposter syndrome. I deal with terrible anxiety on a regular basis. Full disclosure, I've like contacted my doctor and I'm going to be having like a telephone meeting with them to discuss like mental health pathway, because I think I've probably got like PTSD or something. That stuff is quite personal. I don't really want to like discuss why on my channel, but you know, the point is, again, not woe is me. I'm actually doing well. And that's one of the reasons that I've had the confidence to make that call and make that decision, is because it's like, I've been feeling better. This path of doing something positive for myself has made me feel good. Maybe I could be feeling even better than this. So why would I not go for that, you know? So yeah, I'm by no means perfect. My life is not sunshine and roses, but I can let you know that doing positive things for yourself and taking care of your mental health is definitely worth it. So there we go. That's the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments if you want more kind of open, chatty videos like this, or if you'd like me to discuss more of what I do to kind of keep my confidence and motivation up and take care of myself. I'd be happy to share if it helps people. And if not, I'll keep it to myself. And otherwise, I will leave it there. I hope you have a beautiful day and I will see you in the next video. Bye.